With story comes the character, and without the character, there is no story. This basic understanding of storytelling has fundamentally changed the way I make comics. While any story can feature just a character, the choices they make should have some impact on the plot, not the other way around. These choices may not be kind, they might not even be helpful, but maybe a character doesn't need to be perfect. Hello, and welcome back to Make Your Comic Today, a week-by-week catalog of my journey to create a webcomic. My woes of the mermaid comic have finally come to an end. For those new here, this comic in particular has challenged me both from a narrative standpoint and a creative hurdle. With no more than 4 fully colored pages to my name now, I think my understanding for comics has changed in the way I wish to present them going forward, such as simple backgrounds rather than overly detailed ones. A small project, while short and sweet, indeed teaches you a whole lot. And what better way to keep learning than dive straight into a new project as soon as the old one is done. I apparently took nothing away from Mermaid about comic length, because this new story is twice as complicated, especially in regards to character. This Ivar short features a new face in the form of Robert. He's the inventor of a rogue AI system capable of human thought, but to a very limited degree. Now, this baseline of a character is technically enough to make a story, and I agree. There's plenty of scenarios and silly jokes that can come from robots with the intelligence of a toddler, but that would just be touching the surface of this character's ability when it comes to his story. You see, when we create an OC, we're not making a character to look at. Sometimes we want more from them. Here's how I develop a more realistic outlook for my character's personality in 5 simple steps. Step 1. Ask the bigger questions. Being the creator of a robot army is one thing, being their father is another. Robert was initially designed this way, and while the joke remains part of his character, we can go deeper. Why did he create them? Was it really because he wanted to take over Hope Harbor? Or was there a deeper reason he spent so much time pursuing this knowledge? Sometimes if you want to know your character, you gotta do a little bit of digging first. Find out why. Really challenge their perception of the world. Which brings me into step 2. Use personality as a guideline. Now, before we go into the long conversations about the personality spectrum and the Enneagram types, let's get this one thing out of the way first. Personality is not a defined thing, and every person is a little different. This includes your characters. While I do believe these spectrums of character are helpful, you can really limit yourself if you stick too closely to them. Instead, really dive into how your character would respond to simple things, say a picnic. In the mini short, Lunch, that is exactly what Robert is confronted with, and he responds like an impatient father. You can escalate your questions the more you understand the character, but it's good to start easy and build your way up. Step 3. Be alright with imperfections. I think there's no better character to explain this thoroughly than my OC Clay. He's currently the main focus of my upcoming webcomic, and has proven day in and day out to be the most difficult character I've ever written. Why? Perfection. You see, one of the key components of this opening scene is Clay's struggle to maintain a steady life not ruined by his constant errors. But when the story was in development, I focused more so on presenting Clay in a good light rather than showing the true ugly sides of him. I wanted him to be liked, like I'm sure everyone else does with their stories. But I would spend almost half a year going in circles with Clay never sounding right to me. Understanding that he didn't need to be perfect changed my world. It's how he responds to what happens in his life. Clay has his own desires and interests. He might even have a way he wants to achieve those goals. So I went back to the drawing board and whipped up this recent thumbnail art for the comic. Clay can be selfish, proud, and even small-minded. Of course, we'll get to see him grow as the story continues, but this is the start to real character. Don't be afraid to be honest. Step 4. Add a desire. I'm not talking about the A-B plot or the goal of your current story. While these are good to start with, a true desire of a character is their driving force. More often than not, it's an internal battle, and helps us, as the creator, look inside this struggle, rather than focus solely on the external plot. Choosing this unique desire can be a bit tricky. What I did for Robert was focus my attention on the backstory. Sometimes the humble beginnings bring out the worst and the best of our characters. What happened then that affects them now? Do they challenge the old way for the new? Robert's desire, as far as I understand it, is to be heard. And this can manifest itself in multiple ways. You don't need an exact answer right now. Take your time and get to know your character first. And finally, step 5. The world does matter. Where you put your character at the end of the day does have some effect on them. While you can make a bunch of characters just for you and no one else to see, if you truly want to expand your ability as a storyteller, it's time we talked about world building. Some people find this part fun, others don't know where to start. I can make an entire video on this, but for now, let's see how your character fits into the existing world. If you don't have one, build around your new characters. What do they need? If you do have a story and are adding this character to it, you can refer back to step 1 again. Remember, your world and character should complement each other, not work against each other, unless that's your goal. Adjust for these issues, swap out the things that don't work, and keep the things that support your character. Your characters will respond to the things in their story and environment, so let's make sure they work together. So that's how I made Robert. I might not have gotten a lot done this week in terms of the actual comic making, but these things happen. I wouldn't make a story on a whim. I like to understand who I'm working with first and foremost. And maybe you found some of these tips helpful on your journey to create new characters. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed or found this helpful, please consider leaving a like. Then let me know what surprised you this week about your characters. My comics are available to read right now on Blue Sky, and you can learn more about Ivar here in this playlist. But as always, keep making stories, and I'll see you in week 7.